My best friend is claiming she hooked up with my boyfriend. He denies it, and I don't know what to believe. I've been best friends with Becca since 2010. We were college roommates, and then after we graduated, we still lived together until I moved in with my boyfriend Nate in 2019. One thing about Becca is that she's always had a drinking problem for as long as I've known her. And she's done stuff while drunk that has sometimes caused problems in our friendship. She does try to stay sober, but every few years something will happen to make her start drinking again, which is what happened earlier this summer. Last Saturday, Becca called me because she was drunk somewhere and needed a ride home. I couldn't go pick her up because I had the flu and I was on cold medicine, so Nate went to get her instead. A couple of days after that, I started noticing that Nate was being weird with his phone. Normally he leaves it out on the coffee table if we're watching TV or whatever, but he started putting it face down so I couldn't see what notifications he was getting. My first thought was that he was trying to plan a surprise, and because of the timing I thought that maybe Becca was helping him. Yesterday I saw Becca. I told her that Nate was being sneaky all of a sudden and asked her if he said anything about maybe proposing soon. She asked me if I looked through his phone and I said no. Becca started crying and told me that she and Nate hooked up in his car the night that he came to pick her up. Her excuse was that she was really drunk and didn't fully know what she was doing. She said she'd been texting him since, telling him that he needed to tell me what happened or else she was going to. I asked Becca to show me the texts, but they were all in Snapchat, which deletes messages after a day, so all I could see was that she and Nate had a chat thread but nothing that they said. I told her to text Nate in front of me so I could see what he said. And she did, but we got no response at all, so it didn't prove anything. I asked Becca if she was sure she wasn't so drunk that she imagined it or thought a dream was real, and she absolutely lost her mind on me. She said that she knows that she's horrible when she drinks, but that she's not delusional and doesn't make stuff up. She said that I could believe her or not, and it's my choice, but she was telling me the truth. I said I needed to go home and talk to Nate. When I got home I confronted Nate with what Becca had said, and he acted shocked and denied that anything happened at all. And he said he didn't know why she'd think so or say so. He said that he had just given Becca a ride home, and the only thing that happened was that they talked about how he and I had been together for a long time, and how we should get married already. He admitted they were talking on Snapchat the next couple of days. But he said that he was asking her about engagement rings and what kind of proposal I would want. Nate replied to Becca's message from before, asking her if she made up a story about them hooking up to not ruin the surprise about his proposal. And she texted him back that there was no proposal and to stop playing dumb. So then Nate called her pretending like I wasn't in the room and told her that she needed to stop whatever she was trying to do because we were on the verge of breaking up. And he'd rather just have the surprise ruined, but Becca just kept telling Nate to stop lying until he got angry and hung up on her. Right now Nate is really upset and not really talking to me much. He says that it's bad enough that Becca acted insane and ruined his plan to propose. But it's even worse that I believe her lies even a little and would think that he would ever cheat on me. Becca texted me saying she was sorry, but otherwise I haven't talked to her either. I don't want to think that Nate would cheat on me or that he'd take advantage of Becca if she was that drunk, but I feel like I can't be 100% sure. I've known Becca for 13 years and I also just can't believe that she'd lie to me about something this important. And I know that she does have a drinking problem, so I can believe that she'd sleep with my boyfriend if she was drunk out of her head. I don't want to wrongly accuse Nate of something he didn't do, but I don't want to be an idiot. Fast forward a couple of days, I told Nate that I had found out a way to recover deleted messages from Snapchat. He immediately took out his phone and opened the app and asked me to show him how to do it. Immediately, I thought that must mean he was telling me the truth because he didn't panic or hesitate at all. Which was good because when I tried to download Snapchat on my old phone it turned out that it's too old to support the current version of the app, so it wouldn't work. Nate then asked me if we were going to have to go out and buy a new phone for me to believe that he was telling me the truth. He said that he was willing to do it if that's what it would take. I told Nate it wasn't that I didn't believe him, I just wanted to have some proof because I just couldn't understand why Becca would lie about it. Nate said that she would lie about it because she's a crazy drunk floozy, and there's literally no way for a non-crazy person to understand why she would do anything. Then he told me to get up because we were going to go to the Verizon store. By then I completely believed Nate anyway, so I told him we didn't have to go anywhere or get a new phone. I believed him and I knew he didn't cheat on me. Nate said that he would hope I knew that and that he didn't understand why I didn't take his word for it in the first place. I started trying to explain why I didn't want to just immediately dismiss what Becca said happened, but Nate said that he really couldn't listen to that right now. I said that was fair and agreed that I would cut Becca off, but first I wanted to try to get her to admit that nothing happened. Nate said fine, but to call her with my phone on speaker because he thought he also deserved to hear her admit that she was lying. So I called Becca and I said that I figured out how to recover deleted messages on Snapchat. She asked me why I would need to do that, so that was when I knew for sure that she was definitely making it up and not just confused somehow. I said it was because I wanted to have proof of what she and Nate talked about. Becca asked me if I saw their messages, so I lied and said yes. After that Becca just went silent until I asked her if she was going to say anything. Then she asked me if that meant that we were engaged now. Then I just lost it on her. Becca started screaming back telling me to calm down, and went on about how I never believed her anyway because it's not like we broke up over it. I was crying by that point, and because of that I couldn't really say anything else. Then Nate told Becca to go screw herself and to never contact either one of us ever again, and hung up on her. A minute later Becca sent me a completely unhinged text that I'm quoting here verbatim. "Courtney, you're supposed to be my friend for life. You are supposed to be there for me. But then you meet Nate and now you only care about him. Everything is about Nate. Tell me why Nate comes to pick me up when I call you. I called you, not your precious Nate. I only want you to see how screwed up this is, but do you? No, of course you don't. You choose Nate over me like you always do. You pretend to care about me, but I can see that you don't care. You're a pathetic woman who would choose a man over a friend. Goodbye forever. I hope you got what you wanted." There were the 3 dots after that showing she was still typing more, but I blocked her before she sent it. I don't care about anything else that she has to say. I'm sure it's all just going to be more garbage about why this is my fault. I know Nate is probably right, and there's no non-crazy logic behind why Becca would stoop so low and do something like this. But obviously I've still been thinking about it. It seems like she somehow thought that if she said she hooked up with Nate, I'd break up with him but still want to be friends with her, and then everything would magically be